So, what's your opinion of the current state of government?
I think it's pretty shitty. I think it's at an all-time low, and I think we need to start getting more jobs for our own people here.
What about politicians? Do you trust them 100%? Is it up in the air? Do you not trust them at all? What's your view on them generally? Not without mentioning names, but just politicians in general.
Well, just like most human beings, they're all about themselves, and they've learned to be even more selfish because they've learned the ways of the way the government works and how to cheat and manipulate to get their way.
So you're saying in your worldview, you are aware of corruption within government?
That is correct.
And I never met you before, but I'm starting to understand that a lot of people feel like that. Do you think that a president, one person could change this, or how would you go about solving these issues? Because
it's going to take a while to get things back in order. There's been so much going on so long that the economy's got to the point where everything's just done overseas now, and we really don't get that much work here. So I guess we're going to start making factories and bringing it all back to our own country.
So you're saying that America is kind of rotting from the inside out. It's being shipped. Jobs are being shipped overseas. All right, that's jobs. What about racial inequality? Why do you think racial inequality exists? The whole thing with the cops. Do you believe that black citizens in America have a cause, or are they? What's your view on what they're feeling and what they're complaining about with police brutality? Does it exist or does it not exist? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it exists in certain cases, but for the most part, no. You got 13% of the population causing 52% of the crime in America.
So
murders.
Okay, so you're saying that the racial inequality is caused by what? Where does that originate? Was there an origination? Was there an origin, or is it just?
Well, they're just hanging on to something in the past of their slavery, and I think that's all they're hanging on to.
Okay.
They populate 13% of our country, and 52% of all murders are done by blacks in America.
Now,
That's crazy.
Well, is that based off of situation? Is it their environment? Is it lack of education? Is it lack of skill sets? What is it that you think?
All that.
All right. So, is that the cause of the crime rates being so high with blacks?
It's
what's causing the crime rate to be so high with blacks?
The parents.
The parents.
Yeah, it's all the parents. If you don't want to have your kid in that environment, move them out of that environment.
Okay. So the parents' fault.
It's the parents' fault.
Okay.
Ignorance teaches ignorance.
All right. So is that ignorance something that always has been? Is it? Do you feel that they're valid in their points, or do you feel like it's time for the blacks to get over it?
Well, it's not all blacks. It's you got blacks and you got niggers.
Okay.
It's two separate things.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, elaborate. What do you mean by that?
Black people are bettering themselves and trying to educating themselves when becoming part of the community. Niggers just sit back and want to destroy things and take and not try for nothing.
Okay. So how do we solve that problem? How do you bring that inequality?
Don't ban the guns, ban the niggers.
How do you create equality? How do you create equality with that sort of worldview? I mean,
educate yourself and take it in your own hands.
Now that's self-empowerment, a skill set. So let's say someone was born in a ghetto that doesn't have a lot.
Use that for positive energy, not negative.
But see, where did you get that ideology from? Who told you about that? Did you just learn that on your own, or did someone give you that knowledge?
I grew up not having that much. So I grew up in a trailer park, so I know from personal experience.
From your own trials and tribulations?
Yep, that's correct.
So you're saying you picked your own self up on your own 2 feet and worked your ass off? Is that what you're saying?
That's it.
Was that ingrained in you, or did someone teach you that?
I think it's all a mindset. It's a little bit to do with parents. You see your parents working hard, you know what I'm saying? So it has to do with a little bit of parent upbringing.
All right. And what about let's say so you mentioned that it was the parents' fault. I mean, you could go on and on with that, because you can say, well, the parents' fault were disorganized because their parents were disorganized.
But then you got to take it in your own hands when you get a certain age. So you can only blame it on the parents so long, and then you become adult and got to take it in your own hands.
Oh, so you're saying there is a point when you become an adult that you should know the difference between
right and wrong.
Right and wrong, and right and wrong. Okay. All right.
You can only blame it on them for so long, and then it's your own ignorance. Because if you're saying, "Oh, it's how I was brought up," and this and that, well, then you know. So handle the shit.
Okay, so you're saying that people are using it as a crutch to be sad about things and angry about things.
If they can keep it going to get sympathy out of it, they're gonna keep it going forever.
Right.
I've been working for years and years to get things for free, so why not keep it going?
Okay. And
everyone's looking for a handout.
All right. So what are your thoughts on that's your view on that topic specifically? Would you consider other races to be part of that spectrum, or is it just blacks in your mind, or is there a wide spectrum of humans in America that would be categorized in that lower, uneducated, or don't have the skill set, or victimization mentality?
Well, you get the other side of it too, where the government does keep people down, but there's a certain what's the word I'm looking for? A certain, I can't even think right now.
So that a certain point,
how far you take stuff, you know what I'm saying? How far you go with certain shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They go overboard. They're extra.
Okay.
So they go extra than everyone else. Everyone else, you know what I'm saying, is struggling, having hard times, but they go overboard with their shit.
Mm-hmm. All right, so so handouts. What about handouts that the top 1% get, like corporate owners who don't pay taxes, like the CEO and owners of Verizon and Rupert Murdoch not paying his taxes and all this kind of stuff and getting subsidiaries.
That's all passing of money to get away with breaking the law. So if you got money, you can break the law.
Is that an issue that needs to be addressed, or?
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So can you tell me the difference between a super powerful elite who's getting a $2 million handout for whatever reason, or not being allowed to, or getting a break and not allowing to pay their taxes because they're super wealthy? How do you group that end of the spectrum over to the lower end? Is it the same to you, or is it two sides of the same coin? Is one being focused on more than the other? Because a lot of people do that. They just focus on like the lower half and judge them, and you don't get a job, not educated. But no one looks at the higher end of the top 1% who are getting these handouts. Some don't even pay taxes. How do you reconcile those two ends of the spectrum? How do you judge it? How do you view it? How do you see it? Is it right? Is it wrong? Should it be corrected? Or is it that's just the way the money works? What do you think? What's your what's your opinion on that?
It's gotta find out. There's gotta be a balance in between. So I think everyone just needs to be responsible for their actions. So if everyone's responsible for their actions, then there shouldn't be no favoritism just because there's money passing. Everyone should get treated equally.
So we got some problems, huh? America's got some problems, huh?
Definitely got some issues we gotta fix.
How come we can't solve them? Why does it seem like we never can solve them? Why?
Because gotta be the money.
The money?
Yeah, man. People get greedy.
Interesting. All right. Good talk.